Real quick, the intro, I guess, got cut off somehow. So, yeah. Pretty much I was gonna say, welcome to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 of this run. And last time, it was revealed that Peter brainwashed the team, and that was what I was gonna lead into. So, yeah. Bye. To all of them and brainwashing all of them to join his team. And it continues with like four storylines. One, Rocket and Mantis and Groot and Major Victory are trying to keep the Guardians together by adding some new members and also saving Peter, who is currently in the negative zone because he tried to do some hero stuff. Adam and Gamora trying to learn more about the Universal Church of Truth, and Drax and Phila going to go save Moondragon, aka Drax's daughter. So, in issue 1, it picks up with Rocket, Groot, Mantis, Major Victory, and Bug. So Bug is like, I guess from the quantum realm is what you guys would know about it if you're just a Marvel MCU fan. But it's called the Microverse, and he's like, that's pretty much all I know about him. He's just from the Microverse, and he's like an insect-like guy. But he's pretty much from the quantum realm, I guess. But anyway, he like after Peter and everyone else besides Rocket, Groot, and Mantis stormed off to be somewhere else, Rocket's pretty much had to become the leader of the Guardians. Like, Groot's all healed up, he's back to his big size, talking with I am Groot in full yelly sentences. Major Victory decided to join the party because, well, he stayed on Nowhere a couple times and it didn't really end well for him, so he just decided to join the team because, well, he has to do something. And he's also just been staring at Starhawk for a while for some reason, to just try and remember who he is. But nothing's really happening. And Mantis is now no longer just the counselor of the team and more just an actual field member now. And Bug finally joins the team and even comments on the fact that he was in the Conquest team of Star-Lords, but he wasn't even called to join the actual team. Because yeah, he was actually in Annihilation Conquest, the story that led before the Guardians book that I'm reading right now. And so they're on this planet trying to save all these people because a mysterious race called the Badoon is like over there, and Major Victory has like a major flashback and learns the Badoon are the race that he was like fighting against in the future with the original Guardians of the Galaxy. And you might know them better as the United Ravagers from the movies. So, yeah. And like he tells the Guardians like, dude, this is the Badoon. This is like a really big deal. These guys are like super duper threats. We need to like make sure they die and like stop them. And Rocket and no one's really taking them seriously until they learn what the Badoon would actually consider this attack on this alive planet was pretty much just a test, just to test out their new weapons. And like Rocket and everyone's like, oh yeah, these guys gotta go, and managed to fight them off and go back to Nowhere to just get back to normal. And like we also cut to the other Guardians. Like Gamora's all healed up and she's with Adam because, well, everyone kind of left and no longer want to be part of the Guardians because of the whole brainwashing thing. And she's helping out Adam because, well, she doesn't know where Nova is or something. And I don't know, Adam's kind of cute, I guess. And really, in Adam and Gamora's story is probably the shortest because mainly it's Adam like going around the universe to every universal church of truth churches, beating the crap out of everyone and basically telling them, "Hey, tell the matriarch I'm coming." Manages to meet up with the matriarch, says, "Oh hey, I'm Adam Warlock. Hey, follow me because I want to know the future and like prove to us you're Adam Warlock." And he like does some amazing crap and then leaves. And like the matriarch's like, "Okay, open up that cocoon we have because I need to know what the hell's inside of it. If this guy is actually Adam Warlock, because there's been false Adams before." And I'm pretty sure what's inside the cocoon is Magus. And if you don't know who Magus is, you obviously haven't played Guardians the game. So yeah. But uh and I'll talk about Gamora, I mean Drax and Fela, aka Quasar right now, later because they have that storyline going on. But back to Peter. So after the whole Guardian split up thing, he decided to go to the Kree, to the home of the Kree, Hala, to try and warn them about secret invasion because of the whole scroll thing. And he's like, runs into Ronan the Accuser, and damn, Ronan's a lot bigger than he was in the movie. The only thing not comic book accurate about the costume in the movie is the fact that he wasn't big enough. But he runs into Ronan, and Ronan's like, Star Lord, we already knew about it because they built a machine that pretty much like sucked all the scrolls into it, empowering like a shield. And Star's like, "What the? This is wrong, man." And Ronan's like, "Look, you fucked up last time, and I'm not letting you." Hold on. Sorry about that. And I'm not letting you fuck up our home again. So, and he knocks Peter out and tells his guards to throw him into the negative zone because Ronan's apparently the leader of the Kree now. So, yeah. And Star-Lord lands in the negative zone and arrives at the feet of Blastar. So who was Blastar? Well, he's a very old Fantastic Four villain that was actually kicked out of the negative zone and now is king of the negative zone since Annihilus is indisposed. And pretty much is now referred to as King Blastar and wants to have some fun times with Peter and not in like the like that way and more in the fun times of, hey, you see that prison over there? Hey, yeah, that leads to Earth. I would like to go there and like take over Earth and stuff because this is still after Civil War. Like Civil War has already happened, but in Civil War they're like the people that are for Human Registration Act, Superhuman Registration Act, kind of put all the superpowered criminals they could find into a prison in the negative zone. But in that story, the heroes left, and the prisoners kind of took over. But Blastar's been trying to get in there so he could open up the portal to Earth, so he could take it over. And since Peter's human, he's like, "Hey, help me out, man." And so he strips Peter and like sends him over to the prison. Like all the super like criminals are just like, "Should we let him in?" And they decide to let him in to see what Blastar is about. And there's one guy that helps him out specifically called Jack Flag, and he is crippled. And he also hates cosmic stuff. He never shuts up about how much he hates cosmic stuff. And it's pretty much, I guess, like a parody of all the people that don't like cosmic stuff. and only like the grounded superhero stuff that happens in the normal Marvel universe. But anyway, and like he and the other leaders of the prison, I guess, meet up with Peter, and everyone's like, "Who the hell gives a shit about Earth? Let's just let him in." But Peter's like, "Dude, Earth. Shouldn't you care more about the planet you come from?" Everyone's like, "They fucking abandoned us." But Jack Flag wasn't exactly for that and knocked everyone else out, except for a guy called Skeleton Key, who was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'm on your side," and then immediately ran to open up the gates and say, "Hey, we're surrendering." And so Jack and Peter go to the nearest telepath in the prison to get in contact with the Guardians to tell him where he is, and the Guardians go to the teleportation way of nowhere and start to teleport to Peter's location. But since he didn't have his key card anymore, because he was stripped, they land right in the middle of the army that currently was holding the key card, and and they're like, "Oh crap, Cosmo, get onto his actual location," and then you're part of the team now. Oh hey, Bug. And pretty much everyone's like all buddy buddy again, and they teleport all the way back to Earth so they could warn the Fantastic Four, specifically Reed Richards, because he's the guy that invented the whole prison, to not let um, Blastar through. And he's like, all right, I get it. Blastar's a big deal. I get it. And that's pretty much it. And like Peter and the Guardians and Jack Flag teleport to nowhere, and Jack Flag's like gets his back fixed. He's no longer crippled, and he's just like, "Well, I can't exactly go back to Earth since I'm still wanted there, so I might as well just stay here and finally get some cosmic stuff and see what it's about." And him and Peter go for a drink, and it ends with Major Victory and Starhawk having another stare down to try and see if he can remember anything. He doesn't really remember anything. But now for the final story, which is Drax and Fila Vel. So there's some things to explain. So Drax in the comics is not a different like alien species than human, because he is human. Well, his soul is human, but he pretty much had the exact same backstory. So him and his family were murdered by Thanos, because I guess Thanos didn't really like their Sunday driving. But this guy called the Connoisseur or something. Jesus Christ. So Drax is human. His soul is human. And but his story is pretty much the same. Like, Thanos killed him and his family, but because I guess he just really hated their Sunday driving. But his soul was saved and transferred into the body of Drax, and then he eventually became the Drax of this book, because he had like two forms before it. But his daughter also survived and was raised by the guy that saved Drax's soul and turned him into Drax the Destroyer. And her name was Heather Douglas. But but some actual Marvel fans that read the comics, sorry, but it's true. Let's just hang out with Mom. You probably know her better as Moondragon, because she has like a hidden dragon of the moon type spirit inside of her, and Moondragon died in Annihilation Conquest. She died. Like, you saw her tombstone in Volume 1. And Drax, in Annihilation, was taking care of this girl named, like, Cindy or something. I really forgot her name because she's kind of forgettable. But anyway, he was taking care of her, and then she just screwed off, and he's currently in search of her. And Philaville is just trying to help her out because she wants to get closer to Drax, I guess. Because her dad kind of died and she never really got to know him, so Drax is the closest to an actual father she has. So she decides to help him out. But while they're searching on a planet of soothsayers, a soothsayer's like, hey, I know the girl you seek. And they're like, no, you don't. And she says, Heather, and everyone's like, okay, we're paying attention. We're paying attention right now. We're paying attention. And so they go to Heather's adopted father, the guy that saved Drax, and he's like, oh, well, I mean, the stuff that usually happens when she dies isn't happening right now, so I don't really know what's going on, but I guess maybe I can help you out, but it's gonna cost you all. And he kills them and sends them to Limbo, where Heather currently is, to try and save her. And Philaville wakes up and is like, oh, what's going on? And she loses the quantum bands that made her Quasar. And Drax at first is like, well, this is probably not actually Limbo. We're probably just knocked out trying to go save Heather. And then he realizes pretty quickly that no, they are actually dead. And he's like, oh, shit. But then they meet Maelstrom, who is like a follower of Oblivion, this thing. And I guess he's like a big cosmic threat, since everyone's like, oh shit, it's Maelstrom. And he gets his ass kicked pretty quickly by Drax and Philaville, and they're kind of pissed because it was pretty obvious that this is his plan to try and get out of Limbo by, taking the power of these two beings and helping them out. But he's like, okay, look, you captured me and all that, but I will help you find Heather, because I actually needed her to, summon you and all. And so he leads them to the Dragon of the Moon, the thing that was inside Heather, which is revealed to be like a parasitic god-like thing that just was using her to, get out and like wreak havoc. But now that's failed because, well, Heather's dead. It's kind of just going back to sleep so it can, try again later. And Maelstrom reveals his true plan is to get back to life by feeding Drax and Philaville to the Dragon of the Moon to, get in its good graces so he can get the hell out of here. And he actually uses the quantum bands, which choose him for some reason, because the quantum bands leave the user when it dies to go find another one, and it just picks Maelstrom. And he drops Philaville into the Moon of the Dragon. Just drops her, like, flat out. She dive bombs right into to feed, but the soul of the original Quasar shows up, and he's like, hey, where the hell is Philaville? And Drax is like, she's dead. And he takes back the quantum bands after Drax cuts Maelstrom's hands off up to where the quantum bands were, and he takes them back, and the original Quasar takes them back. It's like, oh, great. But now they have to deal with the Dragon of the Moon, and they can't really do anything against it because it's super powerful and crap. But Philaville cuts open the dragon with Heather in her arms, and she's like, okay, I got her. But she's looking a lot more Grim Reaper-y than the last time I saw her. And it's revealed, and everyone's like, okay, how the hell are you like this powerful now? What do you do? And she's like, it doesn't matter. You guys would have done the same. specifically to Heather, and they all come back to life along with the soul of Quasar because he is currently needed in Nova's solo series, who screwed off. But now they're back in their bodies, and Heather's back in a clone of her body, and they're all like, "Oh, great!" But seriously, Villaville, what the hell did you do? And it's revealed that she became an avatar of Oblivion, the thing that Maelstrom was also an avatar of. So yeah. So it's not as cohesive, I guess, as, say, Guardians Volume 1 of the comic. Mainly because the team split up into multiple chunks, and most likely Drax and Villaville and Moondragon's going to meet up with Peter, Rocket, and the rest of the crew to become the new Guardians, I guess, in Volume 3. But I haven't gone there yet, so let's keep going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. It's a lot shorter than Volume 1, but I also had a lot of things to explain, like the context of why the series started. So I hope you enjoyed Volume 2 of Guardians, and I'll see you next time. Wow, this is a lot shorter than I thought it would be. Bye.